Hey guys, welcome to the HVAC Diaries. Today is Friday, December 1st, and this is my weekly HVAC vlog brought to you by NuCalgon. First, apologies for not posting a vlog last week. My family had a bit of an emergency that we had to deal with. My poor dad had a stroke last week. We spent 5 days in the emergency room. Then finally they decided to surgically remove a blood clot from his neck. And once the surgery was finished, he was almost back to normal. So he is just at home right now resting with my mom, which is what he has to do for the next 6 weeks. And then I think he's going to be 100% okay after his recovery. I'm probably going to do a little separate video about strokes and some education on strokes, because I think my brother and I acted really quickly, and if we hadn't have known what to look for or what to ask him to do, I think our situation could have been much different. So I think it's important to share that information, and hopefully it will help somebody one day, because I really think Trevor and I saved my dad's life. But I do have some HVAC adventures to take you on from last week and this week. Both of them were short weeks for us, obviously, because we had lots and lots of hospital visits. But we did get some stuff done. I didn't take any notes or anything, so hopefully between my memory and my videos, I can put something together like that'll make sense for the vlog. But this one might be all over the place. We'll kind of see. Are you ready to go on an adventure together? Let's go. We worked on 2 water source heat pump units this week. One of them needed to be repaired. We just had to replace the blower motor out of it. And of course it's in a ceiling space with no space to work. Sometimes on those units it's so much easier just to bring the whole blower housing out. It's just a couple of screws or whatever. Bring the whole thing out. But I didn't have the space for it, so I just had to bring out the blower wheel and the motor. From the unit, take it down. Trevor replaced the actual motor on the floor. And then handed it back to me to put it back in. And you guys, when I'm taking out that motor, oh my goodness, there's always one little screw that's hiding underneath the bracket of the motor. The motor's got these like 3 legs on a bracket. And in the housing, on the wheel housing, there's a couple of screws all around. And one screw is always hiding right underneath that bracket. Oh, right, there's the one that hides beneath everything else. Can I have a 3/8? Thank you. Anyway, got the new one in place, no problem. Sometimes I make the most interesting faces when I'm working. But yeah, once that motor was in place, started her up and she was good to go. The second water source heat pump unit is one that we had to install. It was a replacement. Well, okay, so if you remember back a few weeks ago, maybe even a few months ago, we took out one of the water source heat pump units and we were trying to repair a refrigerant leak on the evaporator coil, but we couldn't repair it. It was irreparable. So we've had this other unit on order and it finally came, so we got to input that in. Oh, she's a big one.
Look already. Still can't get done without you guys, though. All right, take care. Have a good day.
This time it was just a two-man show, which it's gonna be for the next little while. But Trevor and I got her done easily peasily. That's not a saying.
Little water.
Basically, all we needed help with was putting the new unit from the floor onto the platform so we could lift her up. It's a 3-ton system, so if it was a smaller one, Trevor and I could do that no problem together, but just because of its size, we got one of the guys there at the building to just help us, which he was very happy to do. Yeah, nothing to report on that job. We got her in pretty easily, and that's all I'll say about that job. Alrighty, we're done. Just waiting for her to start up. We can check everything. So we just finished our installation, and this unit actually feeds not this office, but this boardroom down here. And look at this view.
Either this afternoon.
That was not awkward at all. So you guys know I do a monthly filter change at the pub and liquor store nearby. It's the one where I have to struggle. I have to literally fold a brand new filter in half, and it's always a struggle to get the old one out and the new one in. Anyway, when I was there, I usually store my filters in the ceiling space because I have to go there monthly. Instead of taking my filters with me monthly, I'll buy 4 of them and I'll just store them in the ceiling space. They're in no one's way or anything. But when I went to grab the filters this time, I took them out and they were full of mouse droppings. Like, there was a lot up there. And so I inspected the filters and they were actually, it looked like stained with mouse pee maybe? I don't know. And they were all chewed through as well. There were holes all over the filters. So got holes.
Well, this is the best one that's got.
That's the best one. The other ones are covered in shit and in holes.
Just message Tony and tell him that they got to wrap.
I had to sacrifice 2 filters for the mice. And from now on, I'll be storing my filters in a bag instead of just in the roof area. So, and I feel like it's a matter of time before they call us with other issues like chewed through wires and stuff like that. They're trying really hard to get rid of their rodent problem, but yeah, I think I found more evidence of their problem. Sorry. We also had a service call at the metal foundry that we work at. They have an old Atlas Copco air dryer that has just been kind of on its last legs for the last few years, for the longest time. Every year they're like, okay, we're budgeting to replace this guy. And then every year it's like, hey, this thing's not working. Can you limp it along? Hey, this is doing this now. Can you limp it along? And every year we're like, all right, you should start budgeting because one of these times we're not going to be able to get you out of the pickle. Anyway, this time we found a faulty fan cycling switch. Basically, the fans, there's 2 condenser fans. Once they came on, they just wouldn't turn off. So we replaced the fan cycling switch with a different one that has a smaller differential. So the way those switches are set, they're set in by cutout and by a differential. So what that means is the fans will be running and they'll reach a certain cutout pressure. So call it 200 psi. So the fans are running, we lower our pressure to like 200 psi, then it cuts out, it cuts power to the fans, and so there's no fans running, and then the pressure will rise. And this rise is the differential that's set. Does that make sense? So call it, okay, so our old pressure switch had a 58 psi differential. Our new switch, which works 1,000 times better, has a 35 psi differential. So what that means is the unit is running, the fans are running, everything's running. We reach 200 psi and then it cuts out the fan. The fans stop, the pressure builds until either 58 psi, then the fans cut back in and bring it back down to 200. But in this case, we've got a 35 psi differential, which is smaller, right? So it's cycling a lot better now. So the fans will turn on, the pressure will come down to say 200, then the fans will turn off, they'll cut out, the pressure will build back up to about 235, then it'll cut in, and the pressure will come back down to our little cutout. Yeah? Makes sense? Are you following me?
As it approaches the 225 mark, windshield marker. Backed up, like, let's get the air that came out of it. This is behaving and how we kind of cover it.
Working on that air dryer, they've got a massive metal door there to the outside. And so I was left alone to close that door, and it took all of my effort. Here, I'll show you. I took a video from the outside, and then I also took a video from the inside. I didn't actually realize my brother helped me with the last, with the last bit of that. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty strong. No, Trevor's helping me. We did have a pretty interesting job this week. We work for a company that does MRIs. So they've got the MRI machine in its own separate room. They've got a separate room with like a computer and I don't know what else. And then on the side, they've got a big server room with all of the machinery for the MRI machine. It's really interesting because the whole MRI room with the actual machine in it is covered, it's surrounded by copper plate. Which is so interesting to me. It's really fascinating. But yeah, so in this little server room type thing, they've got 2 units. They've got 2 24K units, which is way overkill. One of them is like the working unit and the other one is the backup. So what was happening was the working unit wasn't working. The backup was. So we were just there to see why the working one wasn't working. And we did find that it was short on refrigerant, and this has been a bit of a problem for the last little while. The system is so old there that we're definitely going to quote, well, we have already quoted in the past to replace that guy. But now is the time because it definitely has a refrigerant leak.
I believe. We'll find out what.
They can't have that system down. So yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have to replace that one pretty soon. But yeah, so we just topped up the system again to get them going for now. We have told them that this is a temporary situation, that they're going to have to replace that. Trevor and I checked out a catering truck this morning that was freezing over where it shouldn't have been. Unfortunately, today was the rainiest day of the entire 2 weeks. And we had to start our day lying in a big puddle in the rain. The lady there, she gave us a cooking tray, like literally a silver cooking tray to lie on in the pouring rain.
Crap. So soggy down here.
My pants are still actually soaked. So I'm gonna go and take a nice warm shower and get out of these soaking clothes in a little bit. But yeah, we found that guy just a little bit short on refrigerant.
Yeah, this is high side, I believe.
And so for that one, because it's under a catering truck and that thing is bouncing and moving all the time, pretty much every time it drives, it's bouncing around. And because of the terrible weather today and just because of the stressful week that we've had, we topped it up. We did a really preliminary basic leak test. We couldn't find anything. So we've told her to just monitor her system. If it becomes a problem again, say within the next 6 months or something, then we would definitely have to do an extensive leak test and figure out where exactly the leak is. We did a quick residential job this week as well, basically because they're my parents' neighbors and their heat stopped working. So we took a look at their furnace and what we found was a faulty hot surface igniter. which I have the pieces here with me so I can show you. But this is basically the hot surface igniter. This plugs into your board, and then this is the actual hot surface. This thing is so fragile. Trevor basically touched it and the thing fell apart. Although it was already cracked. It was cracked right there to begin with. So it's not like he broke it. It is just so very fragile. So when we purchased the new one, Trevor took it out of the box just to like take a look at it and stuff. And then he hands it to me. And then he's like, your job is to hold this. He's like, don't even look at it funny. Just hold this until we get there. And so obviously it was a full one. But I'm just like, guarding this thing with my life. I thought it was quite cool because it's really shimmery and like glittery.
Yeah. Go.
That's a bright light, eh?
Alright, and in case I've forgotten any of my stories from this week, which I have a feeling I have. I feel like I've forgotten a lot. In that case, here's a few of our other jobs from this week.
Looks bowed. See right here?
Oh, totally. That's cool.
And that's right where it's bowed open.
Totally, yeah. Yep. Beautiful.
Because remember, it would have had to catch it first. Wind it all up.
Exactly.
So the day that this whole situation happened with my dad happened to be my birthday last week. And I'm dying to show you what my parents got me, my family. Trevor was definitely involved, and I think it was actually his idea. But look at it. They got me this tool bag. I have had my eye on these Vito tool bags for so long, and I finally have joined the Cool Kids Club. Obviously because of all of the craziness this past week or so, I haven't even filled her yet. But look at all that beautiful space for stuff. And on this side, oh man, I can't wait to put this in use. and tell you all about it. There's a big strap in there, some other things. Anyway, I'm really excited. And I thought it was funny. I did a little post on Instagram. I was like, some girls want like jewelry and designer purses and perfume for their birthday, and I want a tool bag. So yeah, my new pride and joy. I love it. It's basically like a designer purse, right? It's a very, very functional purse. Yes. And also, before this whole situation happened, I grabbed a couple of things from NuCalgon for just my supplies and stuff. And I wanted to show you the things that I got. First is something that you guys should be very familiar with from me, is the Nickel Safe ice machine cleaner. You guys have seen me use this many times, but I usually use the smaller jugs of it. There's little bottles that I get. However, I do usually keep one of these at the office, at the workshop, and then I'll just decant this into the smaller bottles, which are just easier to use when I'm actually cleaning the ice machines. So there you go, I got ice machine cleaner. I also got this IMS3, which is like a sanitizer, which I also use on ice machines. So this has to be diluted, makes a sanitizer, which I use on mostly ice machines. The next thing I got was vacuum pump oil. It should be good practice to replace your vacuum pump oil pretty much every time you use it. There's that. I also got some great wipes. So these are good for cleaning your hands, cleaning your tools. It takes off the grime and like rusty stuff. It's got one side that is smooth for your skin, and then there's one side that's rough. So you can use that to scrub stuff, or you can use that on your tools, or whatever else you need. And this, it's got a nice pleasant orange smell. So you just pull out these napkins, and there you go. This tub keeps them nice and moist. Smells nice, actually. And the last thing I got was actually for my house. I don't have it here with me because it's been in my laundry room. So it's a Clean Air, basically an odor neutralizer. So it comes in this little tub, you take the lid off, you turn the tub upside down, and then you leave that in the space. And I have left it in my laundry room because that is where my cat's litter box is. And it just takes care of that odor. It doesn't provide like a fragrance or anything. It just eliminates the odor. It's awesome. Here's what that odor neutralizer looks like after like a week and a half. This thing is supposed to last for about 3 months. I don't know if it's gonna last that long. It's like a little shriveled piece of, I don't know, mushroom. How does it feel? Oh, it's hard. Okay. Interesting. Here is the box for it. Alright guys, that's all I have for you this week on my HVAC adventures, amongst other things this week. I really do hope to get back to my regular scheduled programming next week, where I'll have just a much better organized vlog. I feel like this one was a little bit all over the place, but I've got a little bit of catching up to do on my regular life, and then we'll be back to normal next week. So, I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great weekend, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Just a repair. It needed to have a new blower motor in it. It needed to just call it 250. So once the unit has reached 250, it'll cut out and it'll stop the fans from running, and then it'll go back down. That's not how it works. That is in. No, it's the opposite way. Cut in. No, it's the opposite way. Cut in is when the pressure is high. Cut out is when the pressure is low. Cut out. Cut in, cut out. Cut in, cut out. Pressure is high. They cut in. It drops.